I'm Laura Ingraham, and this is Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Thanks for joining us. Draining America. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, we'd like to imagine that our political leaders' priority is how to best defend America. But in ways big and small, we see our country being sapped of what makes us strong, what makes us independent, and what makes us free. From the attacks on our sovereignty along our open border to the draining of our strategic petroleum reserve, the Biden gang has overseen a major depletion of our security and safety. But a new, equally disturbing development was reported late yesterday in the New York Times. Well, it turns out that Biden is raiding our stockpiles of emergency munitions in order to prop up Ukraine. Now, this is reckless and it's wrong. These stockpiles are for true emergencies, not for satisfying the demands of war that Congress never even authorized. Germany's chancellor seems acutely aware of endangering his own country's security by getting more deeply involved in Ukraine.
The Ukrainians can rely on our support for their courageous fight. It is also clear that we will avoid that this is becoming a war between Russia and NATO.
Well, I'll say. The only question is, has that ship already sailed? If only our politicians listen as intently to their own constituents as they do a political leader from a non-NATO country. A leader, by the way, who somehow has enough free time on his hands to appear via satellite at a lot of glitzy award shows. Oh, and of course, today at Davos.
Mr. President.
We truly need to continue with that support of Ukraine, to continue with supplies of necessary. We also need the financial support.
Well, according to Michael Kaufman, a leading military analyst, what we're giving Ukraine may still not be enough to defeat Russian forces. Without adjustments, he writes, to how the Ukrainian military fights, future Ukrainian offensive might require significantly more artillery ammunition to make progress against entrenched Russian defenses. The U.S. is making up the difference from its stockpiles, but that's doubtfully a sustainable solution. It means the U.S. is taking on risk elsewhere. Well, I'll say. But do our generals even care about that, our taking on risk elsewhere? Does America's security even matter to them anymore? And what about Defense Secretary Austin? What does he think? For that matter, are they even telling Biden that Ukraine is, in fact, not winning this war currently? Now, remember, all the boasting that happened just recently, within the last few months, that victory for Ukraine was within reach? The Angle told you at the time that that was happy talk. It wasn't grounded in reality. Nevertheless, as the destruction and deaths mount in Ukraine, we keep hearing the same nonsense from our geniuses.
The commitment that we have is unending. We're going to stay with Ukraine until they are victorious.
We will be with the Ukrainian people for as long as it takes for them to defend themselves, for them to defend themselves against the brutality that we are seeing from the Russian aggression.
Of course, that's what our military and political leaders said in the early years of Iraq and Afghanistan as well, as long as it takes. However, politicians eventually realize that there is no as long as it takes if a war becomes unpopular. The right formulation is really as long as the voters will tolerate this. Eventually, the voters will have their say here. Who really wants another endless war that we have to disproportionately fund as a country? And who are the Americans who want us to be on the hook for Ukrainian reconstruction costs, which are going to be in the hundreds of billions of dollars, at least hundreds of billions of dollars, maybe even $1 trillion? No one I know supports any of this. As our homeland is being overrun by illegals, our energy independence destroyed by Biden and the Greeniacs, and our family budgets devoured by inflation, this administration is once again pledging more money for Ukraine. Just today, we learned that the U.S. is expected to announce one of its largest military aid packages for Ukraine in the coming days. Now, this new commitment would come just weeks after the Pentagon had just announced the largest security package to date. That was totaling more than $1 billion and included a shipment of Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, otherwise known as tank killers. And just as we began training the Ukrainians as well on U.S. soil in how to operate our expensive and complex Patriot missile systems. But it seems that no matter how much we give, no matter how much Americans sacrifice for Ukraine, it's never enough.
The time the free world uses to think is used by the terrorist state to kill. Mobilization of the world must outpace the next military mobilization of our joint enemy. The supply of Ukraine with air defense systems must outpace Russia's next missile attacks. The supplies of Western tanks must outpace another invasion of Russian tanks.
Anything else? Why don't we just make Ukraine a 51st state at this point? Now, he's as demanding as he is diminutive, with zero concern about how this war has driven Russia into the arms of China, and of course not even thinking about the implications for the rest of us. But look, in the end, we can't really blame him. The people we should be blaming and defeating in the future are those congressmen and senators who continue to vote to deplete America's resources by spending more and more money in Ukraine. Because right now it seems like the main beneficiary is the defense industry. And the main result? Utter devastation from a war that never would have happened if we had a real president. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.